Mishirim is the heart of Israel's ultra-Orthodox community, whose role has deeply divided the country and, some say, could become the problem that will ultimately lead to the fall of Benjamin Netanyahu's government. The special legal status of the ultra-Orthodox Haredim, which has existed as long as the State of Israel, ended abruptly on Monday following a Supreme Court ruling that the group would no longer benefit from government subsidies and exemptions from military service, as is mandatory for most other Israelis. Jews. This followed a series of delays by the government in presenting a proposal requested by the court aimed at strengthening the military draft of ultra-Orthodox men. The war in Gaza has exacerbated an unresolved conflict within Israel over special treatment for the ultra-Orthodox, a dispute over the nature of the Jewish state itself. Some members of secular parties in Netanyahu's fractured right-wing coalition say they will quit unless the government follows the Attorney General's orders to cut off funding for the community's religious schools and begin recruiting. Meanwhile, ultra-Orthodox representatives and their supporters in the coalition say they will leave the coalition if these instructions are followed. Either way, the issue threatens to do what the catastrophic security failure of October 7 or the bloody quagmire that followed it failed to do: topple Netanyahu. Significantly behind in the polls, he is unlikely to emerge victorious in any elections that follow the collapse of the coalition. However, there are no signs of unrest on the crowded streets of this area of Jerusalem, located a short walk from the Old City, for the simple reason that many ultra-Orthodox men walking its streets on the last day were adamant that they would not serve, regardless of the consequences of the court decision. I will never join the army. For us, Torah study is everything. We live by the Word of God, who is above all. We will follow the instructions of our rabbis, said Yehuda Cohen, a 19-year-old resident of Mishirim. Our community members in government will fight for us. You see, studying Torah, especially in these days of conflict, is a way for us to fight war. The exemption policy dates back to a period shortly after the founding of the State of Israel, when 400 students at yeshivas, Jewish educational institutions for the study of religion, were allowed to avoid conscription. But as the ultra-Orthodox population grows to about 12% of the country's 9 million citizens, tens of thousands are avoiding the army and living on government scholarships to study religion. Moreover, some groups within the ultra-Orthodox community do not recognize the State of Israel, arguing that the creation of the nation depends on the coming of the Messiah. The army can come here and say whatever they want, says 19-year-old Ari. But we answer only to God. We will not go to military service because Torah study has always been our only goal. They can fine us or do whatever they want. We will pay the fines, but we will not join the army. Ultra-Orthodox Jews live in accordance with religious precepts and distance themselves from modern society. Posters as you enter the area encourage women to wear modest clothing, while another states, if you take your smartphone into this holy place, it will be confiscated. There's security everywhere. Small children roam the streets unaccompanied. Ultra-Orthodox families are large, many with 5 or 6 children, who are taught by their parents from a very early age to be independent. There have been several attempts over the years to force the ultra-Orthodox to join the army, and they have all failed, said Itzik Crombie, an ultra-Orthodox entrepreneur and writer. After October 7, there is a real need for manpower in the armed forces, but the ultra-Orthodox will never join the army if they are forced. I believe that this bill is a mistake, and Israeli society will never accept it. If the law is passed, people will take to the streets, and I will be the first to join them. In recent years, Israeli flags have been burned during protests in Mishirim, along with military uniforms. Israeli Attorney General Gali Baharav Miara sent a letter to the Defense and Education Ministries on Sunday, saying that the process of conscripting members of the ultra-Orthodox community into the army must begin, as the court ruled, and warning against any attempt to continue funding yeshivas that shelter students evading military service, contrary to court orders. The Israel Defense Forces (IDF) estimates the number of ultra-Orthodox men eligible for conscription each year at approximately 13,000. Other army sources say the figure is much higher. The yeshiva reportedly has 60,000 students between the ages of 18 and 26. Recruitment hasn't started yet. An IDF spokesman said, "The IDF is currently making preparations for the recruitment of yeshiva members. Decisions on this matter will be made in accordance with the law and government instructions." The IDF is the army of the nation and operates on a professional level to recruit the population subject to conscription in accordance with the law on the security service. The Gaza war has reignited long-simmering resentment against the ultra-Orthodox among other Israelis expected to serve in the IDF. Dozens of demonstrators affiliated with the Brothers in Arms movement, formed from IDF reservists, gathered in Mishirim on Sunday to demand the conscription of ultra-Orthodox men into the army. I believe in joining the army," protesters chanted as some ultra-Orthodox residents threw eggs, water and bottles at demonstrators. "They just want to provoke us," Ari said. Two ultra-Orthodox parties in Netanyahu's religious nationalist coalition, United Torah Judaism and Shas, condemned the court's decision to end government subsidies, calling it the mark of Cain. Aryeh Deri, head of Shas, called it an unprecedented mockery of Torah students in the Jewish state. Benny Gantz, Netanyahu's political rival, who has said he is willing to resign from the emergency unity government over the issue, praised the court's decision and said it recognizes the need for soldiers during a difficult war and the need for everyone in our society to accept participation in the right to serve the country. Anshel Pfeffer, a political commentator for the newspaper Haaretz, argues that the ultra-Orthodox party's threats to leave the party were empty, and they are in no hurry to leave this governing coalition because the centrist alternative would be worse for them. Other political scientists and politicians, however, believe that this particular problem could lead to the resignation of Netanyahu, Israel's longest-serving prime minister. Naama Lazimi, a Knesset member from the center-left Labour Party, said the scandal could be a watershed moment. Menahem Ellison, 19, said he was confident that the ultra-Orthodox parties representing his community would find a solution. "I trust our ultra-Orthodox politicians," he said. "They know we are not going to join the army. They understand how important it is to study Torah."